if you're trying to pay your quarterback and then potentially have to lose some of the guys that you had to pay defensively. So again, I think that this could be a issue for Baker Mayfield. Maybe that's why he was biting his nails on the sideline. I don't know.
RC, what do you think?
I think that ship has already sailed on paying Baker that type of money. I think Baker will get paid. I think Baker has shown that he's a franchise quarterback. But what the Cleveland Browns showed you last night is that they are a running football team. And I think sometimes they even need to be reminded of it, that even when Baker Mayfield comes back, this is who they are. Now, the smartest thing that Kevin Stefanski and his team did was sit Baker last night, right? Not try to make Baker play through this injury, because as Baker has been playing through this injury, he's been a bottom third quarterback, and not a bottom third quarterback in the sense that they can still win with him, but a bottom third quarterback that they are winning in spite of Baker Mayfield in the games they actually win. Now, I'm not as bullish on Case Keenum as Rob Ninkovich is, because I also realize that the Denver Broncos have only beat the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Jets. You know, we can grab Greeny and we can get, we can get Fink and we can get Allie and we can go get Zach. These are all people that produce the show, and we would have an opportunity against those teams. And so I'm not saying that Denver was gangbusters, but last night Case Keenum did what he had to do, and that's the reason he's the backup. He found a way to win the game. Baker Mayfield's the starting quarterback of this team. They just have to remember that Baker Mayfield isn't the reason that they win and play football that way.
Now, RC, you're selling Fink short. He runs a 4.3, but that's neither here nor there. Graziano, that's an inside joke. The whole staff is laughing, I promise you. Graziano, let me come to you on this thought here, because the Baker of it all is fascinating. And he's talking about a fracture in the shoulder and all the rest of that and how it plays into the contract. There's a lot there.
Yeah, and look, it sounds like, based on what he told Fox Sports before the game last night, that he could be out longer than just the one game. A lot to figure out with that shoulder injury. I think Nico's point is an interesting one. I'm just not sure that this game necessarily matters. That it's not like Keenum played so well that they would think about starting him over a healthy Baker Mayfield. He did win a game against a Denver team that employs the questionable defensive tactic of never tackling anyone, which I don't know if that's going to hold up over a whole season. But I think that the key point to understand on Baker in the contract is the Browns like him. They want him around. They would sign him long term, but there's a number that I don't think they're going to go over, and so far it's not a number that he has liked. And if he doesn't get there, then they might have to look at other options.
All right, so there are considerations here, big picture and small. That's the big. Let's go to the small, Sacho. This is a team that came into this season thinking Super Bowl thoughts. They have been decimated, but a win is a win, regardless of who you play on a Thursday night with all those injuries. Is this a Browns team that, as it gets healthy again, that can still achieve the goals that it had at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely can, and the reason why is what we saw last night. Decimated team by injuries, a team without your starting quarterback, yet you still find a way to win the game with your backup. Why? You have rebuilt this team. Back in 2017 or 16 or so, I remember playing against the Browns. They had a bad offensive line, a bad team in general. Now the team has been rebuilt. You have J.C. Tretter out on offensive line at center leading the charge. So no matter if you have Kareem Hunt, who wasn't there, or Nick Chubb, who wasn't there, you have someone else who steps in, right? To our joke, Fink could go back there and run and get 100 and some, maybe not 150 yards behind that offensive line. And so that's the difference. It's offensive line play, number one. Number two, it's the defense, right? Denver couldn't do anything. They didn't get a first down in the first half. And so that's what's the difference between this team. They found a way to win even without their key players.
RC, same question. Is this a Browns team as it gets healthy?
No.
And the division is tough, too. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, listen, and we talked about the roster on Monday, and Dan mentioned that it was a 6-0 roster that was playing 3-3 football. Well, they're playing 3-3 football because they're a 3-3 football team. Right now, they're above 500 because you go out and you win this game against the Denver Broncos, but the way that this team plays defensively is too inconsistent. Also, when we watch this team, they do have to dominate in the way we saw them dominate against Minnesota, dominate against Chicago defensively, dominate against Denver in the first half. This offense and this defense, they aren't playing complementary football to the point where you believe in them when you're talking about teams like the Buffalo Bills, talking about teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think to an extent the Kansas City Chiefs, because they still have Patrick Mahomes. The thing that happens to the Cleveland Browns is at some point they're going to need a great equalizer, and that can be the run game, but we all know it has to come from under center, and the Cleveland Browns do not have that.
Go ahead, Grass.
It's an interesting point about how they have to dominate, right? They need to get on top of you. They won the coin toss last night and took took the ball.
Yeah.
You always see the coach
Took the
defer
ball.
to the second half.
Right.
They took the ball. They wanted to score first, and that matters to Cleveland the way they play.
And by the way, if you see a smile on my face, it is because I did pick up Dearness Johnson on my fantasy team this week, and that worked out awfully well. All right, it's a Football Friday. We will have tons of football, but I told you at the beginning, there were some great performances last night, and that man was the author of the best. Braves, Dodgers, Game 5, NLCS. Atlanta looking to put it away in LA, and it started well for the Braves. Top of one, no score. Braves have a runner on. Freddie Freeman. It's high and it's far, and it's gone. His 7th home run in his postseason career. So the Braves, a 2-0 lead, but the Dodgers will get hot. Bottom of 2, they're down 2-1 with a runner at first. Oh, crushed. That is Chris Taylor. Dodgers take a 3-2 lead, and they were just getting started. Taylor was just getting started. Bottom of 5, Dodgers up 4-2. Taylor at the plate again with a runner on. Second verse, same as the first. This one an 0-2 fastball straight away center. His second of the night. Dodgers a 6-2 lead. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's still 6-2. Taylor again. Taylor again. That's his 3rd home run of the night. What a night it was for Chris Taylor. 4 for 5, 3 homers, 6 ribs. A curtain call as the Dodgers keep their season alive. 11-2 the final. They head to Atlanta to try and win 2 more. This team has been unbelievable. Offensive performance that involved 3 home runs. Speaking of great offense and a lot of threes, oh, the chef was cooking. Just take a look at Steph Curry, as only he can do it. Everything we're about to show you happened in the first quarter last night of the Warriors and the Clippers. It's just Steph from 3. It's Steph from 3. He was 5 of 5 from 3, 9 of 9 from the floor for 25 points in the first quarter alone. And Golden State opens up the big lead, but Paul George would respond. Second quarter, Clips down 15. But George hanging around, knocking down a 3 of his own. It's a 12-point game. Now it's an 8-point lead, and it's George again from 3. He was so good when they lost Kawhi in the playoffs last year. Clippers actually had a 1-point lead at the half. Let's take you to where this one was decided. A minute to go. Warriors down 109-108. Who else? Steph Curry. Knocking it down. He had 45 points. Warriors up by 2. Less than 10 seconds to go. Clippers are down 4. They're going to George. He had 29. It's a 1-point game. 3 seconds left. Clippers down 2. It's Zubats at the line. He needs to miss this on purpose, and they need to get it back and knock it down. You got the first part right, but the second part, they will not get it off. That would not have counted from George, even if it had gone. The Warriors hold on, and they win a thriller, 115.